First love. I remember my first love like it was yesterday. I'm gonna run this story down the line for y'all to let y'all know how we came to be. I used to see you in the back of my mind. You was a vision of a woman I was looking to find. I spent years on the grind, never once could I see. We used to talk cordially, but never thought it could be. Cause I was caught up in the world trying to chase this cheese and thinking that making paper was legitimately the way a nigga should be. The fruit never fall from the tree. My mama taught me I should never settle typically. I used to see her all in traffic, never knew of her name. I tried to get all in her brain just by spitting some games. But blame the same thing about spiritual cat. With discipline of mind, focus on vaping the fact. I was determined just to get all in a physical frame and became infatuated as my heart was inflamed. I can't explain or restrain how these feelings remain. Just like freight train struck a good tracks in my brain. She never ever gave me action. My attraction for relaxing was exact, but her reaction was attractive from the practice. She would shake spots whenever I start plotting and come right back up on the block when I committed to stop. You see, your beauty's like a ruby mine, shining like a diamond. She the principal thing, trying to get her, but she's declining, trying to say that if I change up my ways, I guess it's a matches. So I'm see what's happening, you know what I'm saying? All days I sit back and meditate into hallways and thoughts open dimension and doorways dwelling in you. Wisdom like the queen, pristine and the principal thing. Yeah. All days I sit back and meditate into hallways and thoughts open dimension and doorways dwelling in you. Royalty like the queen, pristine and the principal thing. Yeah, she looks so good and so fine. Now every minute in her presence is like infinite time. I'm like yo, I knew this nigga that had acted. Looking back at how we acted, it's surprising he could crack it, but now he's on a block of top notch intellectual. Scholar, I gotta holler, maybe get a number caller. Talk to a partner just to get the hook up. Indeed, we conversated about how to proceed. He said the very true beginning of establishing bonds is the desire to be disciplined, shutting up, listening, temperance, prudence, virtuous deeds, purging out all of the malice and the lust and the greed. Giving heed is the assurance of correction of flaws, because the character discipline is the keeping of laws. Now I'm jumping through a hoop, got me bending over backwards, mack it up, immaculate, rewind it back it up. Days I sit back and meditate into hallways and thoughts open dimension and doorways dwelling in you. Wisdom like the queen, pristine and the principal thing. Yeah. All days I sit back and meditate into hallways and thoughts open dimension and doorways dwelling in you. Royalty pristine and the principal thing. Yeah, it's been about 7 months now, we've been round the clock. Now she be coming to the spot, trying to thicken the plot. She know I'm sleeping on a cot, a nigga ain't got a lot, but I keep thinking in my mind I should give it a shot. So on my own I prepared with some fasting and prayer to make sure the Father wanted me there, cause now I'm scared of a wrong decision, cause it's for life. Did I forget to mention marrying, and if it ain't right, could lead to hypertension, but if I just pass it on by, cause of my apprehension, will I miss on something that's right? And from the fourth dimension, think about my girl named Wisdom. Just one, now she's all up in my system. Got me glistening, cause the thing that she's doing to me is the same thing she did to those before. She been with kings, she been with judges. Her profession was perfected and her beauty was too glorious to ever be neglected. She's an intellectual, so intelligent, spiritual, understanding spirit, lovely, subtle individual. Never ever typical, critically plain, going through all understanding in the hearts of man. But nevertheless it manifested that the rest couldn't obtain her. So the most I gave it to me, now I'm blessed. She's too obtain that she's the best thing that ever came in my life. Wisdom, you the love of my life, and that's real. Sweet brown sugar, praline dream, baby, I'm awestruck. All love sent from above, baby, I'm starstruck. God must kick up stardust, cause all love sends me adrenaline, blood rush. I'm all flush, nah, this bigger than all lust. It's all trust plus such a spiritual bond, so harmonious. My life, my wife, we one flesh. The earth's crust spontaneously combust when our palms touch wisdom.
All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. While Yahweh Shai, this is your brother Amath. I acquire first name IQ is all the same. If you've been around, you've been picking up what I've been putting down. But if you have not, don't get too close because you might get shot. Grand opening, grand closing. God damn you, man. Hove, crack the can open again. Remember that? Jay-Z, Encore. Maybe some of y'all don't know, and I don't blame you. You might be saying, man, why are you talking about Jay-Z? Who cares about Jay-Z? Listen, it just came to my mind when I was doing my research and, hearing about what's going on during the week. Your man Agent Orange jumping out. I got good news. We've had great talks and Strait of Hormuz is fully opened up and blah, blah, blah. Lo and behold, this morning, Iran says, no, it's fully closed. And we firing on they said that it was an Indian ship, one of them ships from Elam. So grand opening, grand closing. That was fast. Took what? Less than 24 hours? Again, we go back to what the Lord said. When they shall say peace, peace, sudden destruction happening. Listen, there is no getting around that the Bible being the supreme book of the Most High that prophesies and foretells of things before they happen, supersedes the will of man. There's no question about it, man. That's why we actually tune in, and that's why we actually align ourselves with what the Lord says, and grafting our hearts and minds and our spirits to fear the Most High and keep His commandments, as opposed to going against the grain, man, kicking against the pricks. There's no winning with that, right? Let me salute the families in the house. My man Kohaf in the house. Shalom to you. Hashemah in the house. Shalom, sis. Ashar in the house. Shalom, Rosemary and the fam out there in London. Shalom to you. There goes brother Jason in the house. Shalom. Shabbat shalom to who else we got? Hosai in the house. Naquab in the house. My man Ali Kabar in the house. Shalom to you, right? Shalak in the house. Shalom. And everybody else is going to be joining in as the stream is going on, or maybe you're catching it later in the day or another day. Shabbat shalom and shalom to you, depending on the day and time that you tune in. But nonetheless, very important things that we have to discuss as per usual. If you have not already, man, make sure that you hit that like button, man. Do your brother a solid. It is imperative that you help the channel out. I don't want to sound like a broken record, and it ain't just us. They're suppressing, they're shadow banning many a YouTube channel. We're just one in particular, and we always be scratching our heads like, man, little us, why are you bothering us? What do we? It's the truth, is what it is. And they've been muzzling us as much as they can. Just earlier this week, I ended up finding out that a number of our videos, street teaching videos and whatnot, have been blocked and not uploaded or even put on the channel. There's some that just had premiered and got 1 or 2 views, and they immediately blocked it without giving us there's no strikes, no nothing. Y'all been on stream with me when all of a sudden the live stream go from 25, 30 people down to like 2 or 3. They kick everybody up. So it's real. Y'all are witnesses to it. And the best thing that y'all can do at this point right now, man, is to fight back against the beast, man. The only thing you can do is utilize the system to overthrow the system. Jump in that matrix, right? Utilize the matrix, man, to overthrow the matrix. Hit that, kick that algorithm in the $, ASS, right? You know what that is. Kick them in the ASS and hit that like button so that the videos can circulate. They already, they don't notify probably well more than 3/4 of our subscribers about, any lives that's going on, classes that are being attended to. So greatly appreciate y'all help by just hitting the like button, man. Even if you don't agree, you walk by or you happen to see the video, you like, man, these Israelites again, man. Dislike, cool, do that. That still tells the algorithm there's activity going on over there with that particular video. Maybe we should notify more. Maybe we should actually push the video out there to be visibly seen. That's one thing that they have it programmed to do, but it will not do it unless there's motion coming from those who are watching, right? So appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all for all the support and everything that y'all do. to help inspire us to continue doing the work, inspire me to continue doing the work and bring forth these classes and whatnot. But that's a job, that's a duty that we signed up for. So all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High for that. Shalom, my sister Sharon out there. Sharon out there in London, man. Shalom, you and the sisters out there, man. Prayerfully, you guys are well. Anybody else I may have missed, man? It's nothing personal. Nothing personal. It's just business. You dig what I'm saying? And I got to get to the Lord's business. All right. So, it was on my spirit. Many a times, man, the Most High might, wake me up 2, 3, 4 in the morning, whatever. And I know I got a DSTM to do or a class to do or something like that. And it may come through a title. It may just come through a spirit of inspiration. And this go around, the Spirit told me, prepare. Tell the people, prepare. And I said, okay, I got to heed the words, right? So today I just want to kind of like drop a few scriptures, in regards to the acts and the performance of wisdom as it pertains to preparation. And I know during the time of COVID and all that, man, everybody was on they want to, man, whether it was about homesteading, whether it was about stocking up, it was about preparing. That's because it was directly in everybody's faces. So now we have another opportunity to reinvigorate that spirit. And self-admittedly, me and mine have kind of lost. I ain't gonna say lost the flame, because I'm always thinking, moving my ribs. You're always, thinking on the same terms. But actively going out, gathering, getting, and those things, I'll say the zeal is kind of dwindled, and it's because of so many distractions, so many things going on, and you kind of lose focus. But let me be clear, y'all. The Most High told me to tell everybody, hey, prepare, and that's what it's going to be today. Part of that is going to be about preparation, because of the fact that, I know a lot of people in the political world or just in the world in general may have been looking at and seeing, the Strait's opening up, Trump's negotiating, it's all working, everything's great. And then when I woke up this morning and I seen that Iran said, that thing is shut down and we starting to light things up that's coming our way. That's why the Spirit told me, before I seen this article, the Spirit said, get prepared. So with that being said, man, let's get to it. And I'm gonna share my screen with y'all. Shalom to my man, the Manawaf, Hadessa. Y'all jumping on there, man. All praise to the Most High. Prayerfully, you guys are well. And sometimes you get the super zealous, extra faith out Israelites. The Most High gonna take care. I ain't gonna do that, man. Y'all prepare for what? You can't stop. Like, hold on. Let's get some scriptures first, and we're gonna see what the wisdom of the Lord says as opposed to the wisdom of man. Remember, the Most High said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, right? So, yes, of course we employ full faith in the Most High. That includes his word. That includes what he told us to do as it pertains to our preparations and our thoughts on how we're actually going to be ready for the incoming Jacob's trouble, so forth and so on, right? Let's not get it twisted. That ain't going nowhere. That's going to be here, right? Let's look at a couple of things first off, right? Sirach 2:1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. We're going to see that that's a repetitive thing that the Most High is going to acknowledge and tell us, that we have to be prepared for the things that's going to be coming our way. Whether it's temptation, whether it's affliction, tribulation, trouble, blessings, what have you, right? The Lord always says, get ready. What's the old saying? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's a fact. Because if we're looking at things, if Yahweh told us, look, there's going to be wars, rumors of wars, there's going to be famine, there's going to be pestilence, he's foretelling us what's going to happen. So what should we do? Should we just sit back and be like, oh, it's going to happen? Or is he telling us, get ready? What did he say in Luke 21? When he told him, he said, prepare, that the overthrowing of the, basically it was foretelling about 70 AD and the destruction of the temple, the Jerusalem being compassed with armies. He says, you need to go get prepared, flee to the mountains, Pray that your flight don't be in the winter on the Sabbath day, so forth and so on. So he was telling everybody what to do before this thing happened. Is that not preparation, or am I tripping? Or should I just be like, hey, we're just gonna be and listen, man, for the zealots out there that be thinking, these Jakes always talking about. Hold on. Let's think about this first of all, right? And I've made it clear. I ain't talking about some canned goods and bullets is gonna save you when all hell breaks. No, I'm talking about just basic necessities of life that happen. I've made very clear about layoffs, food shortages, having to even compromise their food. Listen, the famine is not going to be that there's not going to be any food. No, there's going to be food. It's whether or not you can afford it. It's whether or not you want to compromise your diet, because what the food is available is all Franken foods and GMO based and tainted with carcinogens that's going to give you cancer. Like, there's some things that you just may not want to be partaking in. Look, we just covered a story last week about the Cincinnati water department and the issues that they were having, that they had to give out cans of water for 300,000 people because the water mains keep breaking and the water's jacked up. How about the floods that's over there in Hawaii? You think that they need water? Yeah, absolutely. Clean water. Ask the people down there in Mississippi when they got flooded out a few years ago and everything was tainted. And even when they got the pipes back on, the water was still coming out rusty and all jacked up and everything. And they were telling everybody it's safe to drink. And one woman poured some in the bowl for her dog, and the dog wouldn't even drink it. But meanwhile, the city of Mississippi was saying, oh, no, it's fine. Go ahead. Guzzle it up. I mean, Flint, you name it. So in all manners, the Most High is telling us what? That we should be prepared, right? My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright. What's that mean? Get your mind right. Get your mind in order. Set your thoughts in order. Look at the things around you. That's why I would tell people, especially within our community, that are constantly butting heads with each other over doctrine, butting heads with each other over envy, strife, butting heads with each other over who's most popular, who's getting the most views, who's attracting the most people, butting heads, too caught up on Israelite socials, trying to find a mate, DMing sisters and brothers and all. Like, while you're doing all those things, you're not reading the room. The room is showing famine, pestilence, civil war, warfare in the streets. The room is showing, ICE is still down there hunting down our people, man. Everything from snatching women up off of toilets out of the women's bathroom, to running up on them on their jobs, to running down old men in car washes and breaking their arms. I mean, that's still going on. Shooting people in broad daylight, unaliving them. That's still going on. Brothers still getting harassed and getting accosted by the police and beaten up and all this. That's still going on. But our people, we too busy looking at each other, acting a damn fool. Let alone still seeing the chemtrails blasting through the air, infecting everybody with, harmful, toxins in the air, the food supply, the water, you name it. Digital ID, 15-minute cities, layoffs. I mean, all this stuff is going on. Times of trouble is going on. And however, our people have not put it in their hearts or their minds to get it together. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. So as we see all these things going to be happening, but what? We have to continually endure. How do we endure? The only way we're going to endure is if we're prepared for that endurance. Yahweh even told us, he that endureth until the end, the same shall be saved. I don't know what these Christians are running around talking about. I'm blessed, highly favored, and I'm saved in the Lord, and I'm going to be in the kingdom. No, you're not. We haven't reached the end yet. That's the endurance that it's going to take. And make not haste in time of trouble. So don't be hasty. Don't be running like a chicken with your head cut off. Don't run around. How can you have that mentality? How can you do that? You don't be hasty in time of trouble because you've already prepared for it. Your mind is already prepared for it. Your spirit is already prepared for it. Your household is already prepared for it. So there's no need to be running around making unwise decisions, getting caught up, compromising. I'm telling you, that whole little COVID situation, I spoke on this before, that showed me a lot regarding the state of Israel, the quote unquote believers and the faithful and all that other stuff, when they start running around with them pokes and them jabs and was threatening jobs and employment and money and everything else, there was a lot that was sitting back compromising, saying, hey, uh, guess what? I think it's all right if we do this. The Most High knows my heart. I'm moving on faith. I can't lose my job. I'm gonna do that. A lot of that automatically started becoming more and more in the faces of me and others. And when I was like, damn, did you hear me? Man, them brothers said, what? They doing what? Oh, they okay with this now? And they telling people to do what? Okay. Everything ain't all that it seems. So this is the time that we see, Elder Rossov had a quote that he always says. He says that character isn't made, is defined in times of trouble. Something to that effect. Elder, you on here, man. If I got it wrong, go ahead and type it into the chat, man. Help everybody with that one. But that's profound, man, because you can't just have a reputation of being a man of good character, woman of good character, whatnot, until it's actually tried or defined. And the only way that gets defined or tried is when tribulation or trouble comes your way, and then or a situation where it's time for people to come together, people to actually exude the fruits of the spirit. Then you're gonna see who really has those things and who doesn't. Where is everybody at? Is everybody on every man for themselves, everybody, or are you really about the things that the Lord requires for us to come together and do what it needs to be done for us to be sustained? Right? So let's get another one. So we see here, preparation is talked about during times of trouble or what have you, right? Now, let's look at this. What was getting ready to happen in Luke 22? This is after the Passover, the Last Supper, or what have you. Christ is letting it be known how things are going to be transpiring, moving forward. Satan is going to be on the move. Now, mind you, he's getting ready to get arrested. He's telling the disciples the state of the gospel, what they need to, how they need to be carrying on, and also letting them know how to prepare for what's going to happen moving forward. And who's he addressed first? He approaches Simon Peter, right? Verse 31, we'll start there. I implore everybody, read the whole chapter, right? But just to get to the point, Luke 22, we'll read 31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. Now remember, we just got to reading about prepare thy soul for temptation. So Yahushua is telling Simon, get ready. Satan is going to come down the pipe, and Satan is going to come after you. Why? Because Simon was the elected leader. He was the rock that was going to be the basis of the gospel being spread amongst the apostles and the setting up of the churches in the future, so forth and so on, right? So he's letting it be known. And I tell Jake, hey, heavy is the head that wears the crown, man. Being a leader in Israel is nothing to be desired. If you're elected and the Spirit is on you and the Most High puts you in that position, all praises, ride your office out to the fullest. But there's some, zealous brothers who want the fame, they want the name, they want the notoriety, they want to be lordship over people. They don't realize what comes along with it, because you become a direct target of Satan. Your households will. Those around you will. Your congregation will. So Simon is being told by Yahushua, hey, Satan is desiring to have you. Satan is looking to take you out, that he may sift you as wheat. So what happens if the head gets taken down, the sheep gets scattered, and now the sifting begins? Okay, so yeah, the elder put it in there. Character is not made in a crisis, it's revealed. All praises. There you go. Let me highlight that one while you had it up, elder. Right. So forewarning to Peter was known. Verse 32, but I have prayed for thee that thy faith fail not. So Yahweh said, look, I'm praying for you, brother, that you don't go faithless in these days and times. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. Get ready. That's what happened when we look at all the things that's going on in the earth and whatnot. This is going to be the trial of men's faith, of women's faith, right? And the scriptures say the trial of a man's faith is in his reasoning. So what's your reasoning? Your reasoning is based upon your wisdom, your understanding, the knowledge that you have. When you put those three particular principles in play, that's going to bring forth your reasoning on how you maintain or how you manage particular situations. That's what helps define a man or a woman's character, right? Your reasoning. So he says now, but I pray for thee that thy faith fail not, and when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. So when the transition of the Holy Spirit comes, Acts 1 and so forth, that's when the Holy Spirit descended upon the disciples. He said to them, once you receive the Spirit, utilize it to strengthen your brothers, inspire them, feed them, get them in order, right? There's a lot of, rebellious, stiff-necked individualites or just, rogue Israelites who, just learn online and then they want to run out there into the streets. And then when you say, hold on, brothers, man, y'all just can't run out there like little young lions, man. You ain't got no training. You got no discipline. You got no structure. You're running out there looking like some vagabonds with some, holy T-shirts and hey, man, pull it together. Represent the Most High correctly. Get yourselves in order. Man, we don't need that. We don't need to listen to man. We ain't doing. Who put you? The typical, the typical children of Israel leaving out of Egypt. Moses, who put you over us? Man, I can do this. Y'all don't need you. Okay, cool. You ain't got to. It's all good. Ain't no different than the men during the Maccabees. I think it's like maybe around the third chapter. Or second or third chapter, somewhere around there, where there was some men zealous for vainglory, and they wanted to make themselves in comparison to Judas Maccabeus and the men that was following Judas Maccabeus. Man, they said, we're gonna go out and get us a name. Went out there, man, I think got 3,000 Israelites slaughtered because they decided that they wanted to be men of character, men of renown, men that had their names known, And what ended up happening? They was not elected to do so, man, and the Most High destroyed them and their works. So it's very important that we be careful when these things happen, because it's got to be election by the Most High. And then once you do receive that, the Lord said, don't let your faith fail. And once you do it, strengthen your brethren. Well, how you strengthen your brethren is you have to start assembling according to structure, order, discipline, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, the fear of the Lord, all those other things, right? So that was what Peter's lot was. Continue on, verse 33. And he said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee both into prison and to death. Now we know. Peter, listen, Peter was a strong brother, man. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. However, we do know that there was still some lack of faith and immaturity that was within Peter. You can't deny that. Look, when they was on the boat and Yahushua walked on the water, he told him, man, come out here with me. Peter stood up, said, I'm out, I'm with you, Lord. He went out there, and it said he actually was able to stand on the water, but as soon as he doubted, he started sinking. So it shows you that his faith was not at the apex of where it needed to be. He still had some growing to do. That's why Yahushua said, I'm praying for you. I know what's in you, Peter. I know what you can do. I know that you're of the elect. However, you still need prayer. You still need faith. You're still going to need some strength. You there, but you ain't ready yet. But Peter, you couldn't tell him that. He was convinced, hey, I'm ready, Lord. Both prison and in death. And he said, I tell thee, Peter, the cock shall not crow this day before thou shalt thrice deny that thou knowest me. And that shows you the grace of the Most High and shows you that the election that Peter had, because remember, even Yahushua said, he that denieth me before men, he'll deny before the Most High. So what type of exception to the rule and faith did Peter have that Yahushua bypassed that in order to give him the grace and mercy that was needed to promote the gospel? Peter did it 3 times. But let's continue. Verse 35, and he said unto them, when I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, lack ye anything? And they said nothing. So there's times where you can go out and you do not need anything. Yahushua said there's going to be times where you will be without. So sometimes people will give that scenario. Hey, well, so what, man? You got all your stuff locked up in the house, earthquake hit, you're stuck out in the streets, you can't get your stuff. What good is it to you? That's no problem. Because guess what? Yahushua said, even when you don't have anything, what was your purpose? What did you do already? You already had your faith, your heart in order. You already had the wherewithal to understand and know that that's a possibility. So what's going to carry you on is your faith. And Yahushua said, if that's the scenario, what happened with the disciples when they didn't have purse, script, shoes, anything? Did they ever lack anything? They all said, no, Lord, we always were taken care of. So that's the faith that we still implore, is to say, okay, well, you know what? Even if you can't have accessibility to your stuff gets destroyed in a flood, hurricane, wherever you're at, earthquake. The Lord said, if you got the faith and you've got the mind state to continue on and faithfully endure, you're going to be all right. We're going to still be okay. The Lord said that touch not mine anointing and do my prophets no harm in Psalms 106. That no harm is going to come to the righteous. Isaiah 65 said that his servants are going to eat and drink in that day. What's the key word? Servant. If you're serving the Lord, if you're doing the work necessary to earn the service of the Most High, we'll be taken care of. Continue on, verse 36. He said, then said he unto them, but now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip. And he that have no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. So even Yahushua said, listen, I got no problem with the Second Amendment and your right to bear arms. You better, and you better have it, especially now. Because when times get tough and people are out there starving and looking, Second Ezra, the 15th chapter tells us that there's going to be fear amongst men, and because of lack of bread, there's going to be people invading and storming houses. Wisdom, I think it's a Second Ezra, the 5th chapter, tells you that the storehouse is going to be empty. You know, every grocery store only has like a week and a half worth of supplies and food in there, and they have to wait for that next shipment to come on in. So there's not endless food in there, especially when people are panic buying and they running in there and they grabbing everything that they can. You dig what I'm saying? And then when you actually are hit with a particular crisis and people are trying to go storm the stores, well, the hoarders have already bought up everything, and then what's left in there, you got to wait. And guess what? The diesel and the gas prices and the shipping containers and everything else that's coming up short, that means that the food supply is going to come up a little bit short as we move forward. They said even if the Strait was opened up, they said it's going to take almost 2 years to get things back to quote unquote normal. So the state of affairs that out there are, they're not going nowhere. If the Strait did open up, next week and next month is not going to be back to normal. Stuff is still going to be jacked up for the foreseeable future. That's why we say still prepare as if ain't nothing changed. And it hasn't changed. So the Lord said to the disciples, if you don't have a sword, sell something and go get you one. Make sure that you're prepared. And it ain't to go back and say, well, yeah, I'm going out there, I'm getting prepared for Esau. And no, you're not. Esau was blessed with the sword. You wasn't. That's his specialty, man. All the weaponry that he's got, man, from the biological to the actual military. This dude's got stuff that we haven't even seen. The stuff that he exposes, that's the stuff that he's safely like, go ahead, let them know about that. We should be more concerned about the stuff that he has not revealed. You hear about the weaponry that they use, the little invisible weapons they use down there in Venezuela and all that. That's all real stuff that they got. Havana syndrome and all that. I mean, we were talking about that in 1998 with microwave towers and the stuff that they was doing on the Kingsmen with utilizing the cell phones to transmit into people's ears and changing it. We were talking about that in 98, knowing he had all this stuff. I'm saying, what has he not shown us? The devil, that's the devil. That's the deceit. That's the deception is he gonna show you one hand, but behind his back is the real thing, right? So we ain't talking about get your sword so that you can get ready for the race war and civil war. That's no. Remember, we're in defense of the gospel. We're supposed to be defending, not on the offense, not running out there looking at these goofy cats like Brother Jay and from what's the name of that organization he had? What happened to him? Not gonna give a F or whatever the hell that thing was some years ago. I think he ended up getting locked up or supposedly got locked up. I don't know. But where's the organization that nobody took over after him? And I don't see that anymore. You know, remember that they had that one little crisis actor guy that was down there representing the Black Panthers out of Philly and trying to incite some people to go out there and start a little race war. The light skinned cat found out that he was a fake blood and all. I mean, listen, we gotta be careful of these guys, man. But you definitely should have a sword to protect you and your household. All right. Verse 37, for I say unto you that this is that is written, must yet be accomplished in me. He was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. So he said, this is all things prepared for an end. Verse 38, and they said, Lord, behold, here are two swords. And he said unto them, it's enough. He said, man, if you strap there, you got two straps. Okay, cool. He said, it's all right if you got more than one. You know, I know some brothers is collectors. And that's all right. And, you know, so don't let nobody, man, you doing too much, man. What you gonna do with all that? But mind your damn business. How about that? If the Lord told the disciples, man, hey, we got a couple of them. Lord, he said, that's enough. That's good. But what he tell them? Be prepared. He's giving them instructions on preparation, right? Let's get to history. What's up in Genesis with Joseph? We ain't gonna go too heavy into this because most of y'all know this history, right? The dream of Pharaoh, famine that was coming, right? Genesis 41. We'll read one. I'm gonna read down a little bit. I'm gonna jump around because it's a long chapter, but we're gonna get to the point. Verse 1. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat fleshed, and they fed in the meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. So here is the dream that Pharaoh is receiving. He says he went to sleep, knocked out, received the vision, received the dream. Out of the river, 7 fat-fleshed cattle was out there eating, feeding by the meadow. Then he had another 7 that looked like, you know, they was jacked up, lean flesh, starving on the brink of the river, right? So I'm gonna just drop down to verse 20. So that was part of the dream. Now Pharaoh went, he called for the magicians and the wizards. He tried to get everybody to discern what this dream meant. Nobody could do it. Verse 12. So he said, well, he remembers, you know, there's a Hebrew servant down there, man, was locked up, and he got the dreams of the butler and the I can't remember the other one. The butler and the somebody help me out. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, the baker. Okay. And he gets word about that. He said, man, well, send that cat up here, man. Maybe he can help us. Verse 12. Who was able to do it? And there was with us a young man, a Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream, he did interpret. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so it was. He restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Right? Yeah, that's the one. NFAC, Ashar. The Not Effing Around Coalition. Where are they at? What happened to them? See, that's why our people can't get caught up in the hype, especially in the age of online, you know, influence or whatnot, man. You know, you see the power, you see brothers out there in all black, strapped up, ARs and, you know, 9s on the hip and masked up, and, you know, it looks intimidating. It looks like, yo, they on it, man. I want to be a part of that, man. I'm ready to go to war. I'm frustrated, man. I'm sick of these damn devils. I'm about to go out there and smoke somebody. No, you're not. Fall back, relax, know your place, know your role, know your calling. And again, read the room. Continuing on, verse 13. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was, me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. So that's what the baker was telling him. He broke down the vision and how he got out. And then what? Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. And I let you know, that was one of the laws that the Most High told us not to do, but what? He was under the bondage of Egypt, living amongst the Egyptians. They were the ones shaving their heads bald, shaving their faces clean. But once we got up out of there, remember in Leviticus 18, the Most High told us, after the manners of Canaan and Egypt shall ye not do, and here's the laws. So when we read Leviticus 19:27 about thou shalt not mar the corners of their beards and make baldness upon your heads and whatnot, that was what they was doing. And he told us, don't do that anymore. It's not our custom. That's not our ways. A lion, a male lion, does not shave off his mane. Otherwise, he looks like the female. Just a larger version. No, that's part of our masculinity. You know, they even get into the frequencies regarding the hair and all that. That's all extras in the spirit. Bottom line is the Lord said, man, don't do it. So we see the custom of the Egyptians change his raiment. So Pharaoh, Joseph had to come out and do what he had to do. Verse 15, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. So who did Joseph give credit to? And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. The Most High shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. So he gives all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, right? Continuing on, we see that later on, Joseph interpreted the dream. He said, look, the 7 well-favored fat cows, that's going to be 7 years of plenteous. After that, the lean cows, the ones that's jacked up, 7 years of famine is going to come, right? So with that being understood, long story short, we all know Joseph gave wisdom to Pharaoh, said, look, we need to stock up. While we got these 7 good years, we need to get right. Did that. Here comes the 7 years of famine. They were prepared. Through that wisdom, Joseph was elevated to second in command only under Pharaoh. He said, I'm only second to you. I mean, you're only second to me in the throne alone. Other than that, man, you've got full autonomy over Egypt. All because he utilized wisdom, and he told Pharaoh, we better get ready if we want to come out on top. And then what happened? Once that famine kicked in, people came in, they was going to buy grain while they had money. Once the money ran low, what they had to do? They had to start selling their livestock to get food. Once the livestock's gone, they had to start selling their land. Land gone. He said, well, what else you got left? Well, just ourselves. Okay, cool. That'll work. You're going into bondage and captivity. As Egypt stood on top, because what? They had everything locked down. So we got that understood. That when we're foretold that famine and things of that nature is coming, you'd be a fool not to get prepared. That's just plain wisdom, man. Nehemiah 5. What happened when our people, ended up having to deal with a famine? And how did our people react? How was our people interacting with each other? And those that were considered nobles and princes over the people. Nehemiah 5:1. And there was a great cry of the people and of their wives against their brethren, the Jews. So, think about this. Their brethren, the Jews, when stuff hits the fan, sometimes your own people be the ones that can do you the worst. That's why being around like-minded individuals that keep the laws and the commandments, that respect and honor and fear the Most High, is very important. Look at this. Verse 2. For there were that said, we our sons and our daughters are many, therefore we take up corn for them, that we may eat and live. Some also there were that said, we have mortgaged our land, vineyards and houses, that we might buy corn because of the dearth. So look at this. They had to mortgage their homes just to buy food. I seen an article earlier. They were talking about this. More people than ever are on the buy now, pay later system to get food right now. More than ever. Look, let me see real quick. Look at this. More Americans are financing groceries with buy now, pay later loans, and more are paying those bills late. So not only were they utilizing, now this was from last year, but there's an article that just showed up currently right now from damn near a year ago. This is April 8th, 18th, April 26th, damn near a year ago. And this has not changed. This has gotten any worse. I got to find the one that's actually current, but believe you, I was about to say, trust me. Don't trust me. Go, what they say, trust but verify. Go look for the article yourself. But what's changed? What's different? People are mortgaging, in the scripture, they said people were mortgaging their lands and what they had to go buy food, financing. Same thing going on back then, man. Remember, there's nothing new under the sun. And they said even after they're getting these loans to get their groceries, they still can't pay the bills. Tough times, y'all. Verse 4, there were also that said, we have borrowed money for the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards. So there was usury going on, still had to pay these taxes. I mean, look, didn't Trump just got to talking about that there's going to be a war tax that's got to get paid? California, if you owe the state, they've got like 2 separate taxes that you got to pay if you're late. You pay him. He's talking about Medicare, Medicaid. Let the states pay for it. We can't afford to pay for that because we got to get $1.7 trillion for the war. So let the states take care of the child care and the baby. We can't deal with that no more. They're gonna have to tax them more. I mean, listen, road taxes, gas taxes, especially in California, you name it. We're already paying like 10% taxes just for goods and services alone. Usury loans, you name it, it's all up right now. I was just talking to my mother the other day, and she was saying that her credit union was asking her. They said, "Did you get the email about what was it? It was about a car loan or something like that." No. They were offering 5% interest for savings accounts. And she was like, "Yeah, I got it. Yeah, it sounds cool, but yeah, I'm cool right now." She was like, "Why are you guys emailing everybody about this?" And she was like, and the dude said, "Oh, because we need the money." Now, mind you, the money that's in the banks is not real physical hardcore assets that they got in there. That's why when you go to the bank and you ask for a certain amount, they scrambling around like chickens with their heads cut off and got to get signatures and sign offs. And you sit back saying, "It's my money. Like, how come you just can't give me my money? What's the problem? How can I got to justify why I need $10,000 or why I need this? Give me my damn," because they got to go borrow and take and make an accountability for the money that's gone and make sure that gets replaced. Because overnight they do all these particular deals with other banks and shifting money around and mortgage loans and all that other stuff, man. The banks ain't got the money like that, man. All they doing is relying on the stock market. They're relying on the loans that they got out there, making sure that they can cover all the money. And then when they ain't got it, they telling you, when you deposit that check and they saying, "Oh, well, we can release this much right now, and then in 3 days you'll get the rest." And you're like, "How come you ain't got all my damn money?" It's because they're all under tribute. Everybody's under tribute. Everybody owes something, And now you see here, they said there also that said, "We borrowed money for the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as their children, and lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants, and some of our daughters are brought unto bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards." So people started giving out. I mean, they ended up having to sell off everything that they had in order to survive the dearth, which is the famine. So the only thing that we can do is try to, prepare yourselves as best you can. Like I said, the cost of living and expensive things right now is not in everybody's favor. If you wasn't doing this years ago, if you just now starting off, or you fell off and you ate up or drank up everything that you had, and you're like, "Damn, I got to get back on it." Now it's going to be even harder to get out there. So strategically start thinking about how you want to go about doing it. May not have some of the best quality of things, but you might want to go and invest, take $20 and go to the Dollar Tree, Dollar General, whatever that the local store is by you. And even though it ain't a dollar no more, everything is $1.50, $1.75, and some more stuff. But you can go buy, let's say 5 gallons of water. And then guess what? You still got, $13 left over. Okay, maybe I'll spend another 10 on some canned goods. Check the dates on them. Try to get, some vegetables, whatever the case may be that you can get, or some pastas. Pastas last a long time. Get some things, some beans, get some things that you know there's going to be a substance. And also, you don't have to get rid of during the time of Passover. So make sure that you keep those things in mind. Because people go run out there and go panic buy stock about all this other stuff. And then when it's time to start purging out the house of Passover, you start looking at all these things. You're like, oh, shit, this guy, this guy. Oh, I got to get rid of this. Damn, I just bought all this stuff. Think ahead of time, too. That's wisdom. All right. So reading down, it says, and I was very angry when I heard their cry and these words. Then I consulted with myself and rebuked the nobles and the rulers and said unto them, ye exact usury, every one of his brother. And I set a great assembly against them. So don't think that your own people won't try to take advantage of you and go wild on you when you need something. I love my people, man, and like to try to cater to, Israelite businesses and stuff like that. But a lot of our Israelites, man, and not just in the truth, but in the truth, out of the truth, man, charging up exorbitant prices, man, that make you say, damn, this is why I can't deal with our people. I seen one brother on YouTube. He was helping Facebook businesses or whatever, right? And there was some sisters that were selling wings out of Long Beach. Can you imagine? They had, I think the brother got like either it was a 6 or a 10-piece wing. They charged that brother $30. $30 for 10. Come on now. No damn shame. And then they listening to these influencers and these life coaches saying, know your value, know your worth, don't sell yourself short. None of that at the expense of like robbing your own people or denying your people your talents or your gifts because you've been told that you're worth more. Come on now, work with your people, man. They'll work with you. But I digress, right? Now look at this, verse 8, it says, and I said unto them, now mind you, see, our people was out here exacting usury, taking advantage of people that was in bad situations or whatever. A lot of that was going on, especially during the, you seen that in the choir? Okay, there you go. Yeah, the LA Tri Guy, that was the one. Now, mind you, you see this going on and you know that everybody's in distress. Everybody's looking for a come up. Remember during the time of COVID, people was at home. You got stimulus checks. People was on PPP loan. Money was flowing. Slow Biden was lining the pockets up with Jakes. Niggas was out here renting yachts and cars and taking trips and going out, spending up money. And guess who was online? All kind of charlatans talking about take my course. I'll teach you how to invest in crypto. I'll teach you how to invest in stock markets. Hey, I'm your new life coach. I'll get your life in order. Send me your money. Gain it. Because why? They knew Jakes had money and everybody was locked in the house. So what are you doing? Spending all day online, scrolling around. And people, do you know how many people, there's so many horror stories of people talking about how, man, this man scammed me, that woman scammed me, they did this, they did that. Yeah. Because desperate times call for desperate measures. There's always going to be some snake oil salesman out there that's going to try to take advantage of you. So be careful because that's going to happen as time continues on later. When people get desperate and those who are in favorable conditions or have that slick silver tongue that can con you and get you out your breath, they're going to do it. Because it's going to be kill or be killed, eat or starve, and they ain't going to care. So Nehemiah was saying that same thing was going on, and it was a famine and all that, man. It was our own people out there, man, charging usury, getting Jakes caught up with bad deals and all kind of stuff. But look at this, verse 8, it says, and I said unto them, we, after our ability, have redeemed our brethren the Jews, which were sold unto the heathen. So they had to go and buy our people back from the heathen that sold themselves to try to make ends meet. So they had to pull together and say, man, We had to go redeem our brothers, man, who had to sell themselves short and go serve the heathen and be servants under them. We had to pay to get them out. And will ye even sell your brethren, or shall they be sold unto us? Then held they their peace and found nothing to answer. So after coming out of the Babylonian captivity and whatnot, man, the Most High redeemed the Jews and everything else, and just for our people to sit back and try to, exercise usury and put each other under bondage and lordship over each other. And all, Nehemiah was like, man, we just got out of there from being sold unto the heathen, and some of our people had to compromise their lands and their bodies and their daughters and everything else to try to survive and sell them to the heathen. We redeeming them back, and now here you are trying to sell your brother. Are you gonna be the same way? You gonna sell it? And they was like, oh, damn, they was cut. So Nehemiah had to exercise and let it be known, man. Don't operate in those things, but just know that those individuals and people like that do exist and will be around to take full advantage. So be prepared in all facets. That's why the Lord said, set your heart aright. Get your mind right, because that's what's going to happen. Ecclesiastes 10:19 says, a feast is made for laughter and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. So, let's like it. That ain't the one I wanted. I'm tripping. I want 7. Let's see. Chapter 7. Yeah, this is the one I want. 7 and verse 11. It says, wisdom is good with an inheritance, and by it there is profit to them that see the sun. So what are we seeing? Wisdom is good. It says with an inheritance. So if you receive some things or you have a possession of things, the Lord said it's good if you got wisdom to know how to use it, know how to exercise these things so that you can be prepared when to use it, not to have a bunch of things that you ain't got no idea what to do with it and all that. Like, nah, if you got a wisdom and a wise mind, a well-instructed mind to go forth before it, to know what to do with it, you'll see profits of it. Now it says, verse 12, wisdom is a defense. Isaiah 33:6 says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times and strength of salvation. Right? So if we're talking about salvation, the Lord said wisdom and knowledge are going to be the 2 key factors that get you where you want to be. Strength of salvation. But he said wisdom is also going to be our defense. So is being prepared wise? Absolutely, because that's what's going to defend you in the days and the times of trouble. And money is a defense. So yeah, the scriptures even tell us. I was reading it in Ecclesiastes 10:19. It says, money answereth all things. So yeah, you're definitely going to have some sort of financial backing to help you through your ways. So don't put all your money in one basket. Use the banks to to pay your bills, do what you got to do, but you should still have a little cash on hand to stash away, because guess what? If the grid goes down, the banks have bank failures and they can't get the systems up. I've been there and seen that happen. Banks getting hacked. Oh, the systems are shut down for the weekend. Sorry, we can't do nothing. Maybe come back Monday. And you see the panic on the people. Give me my money. Give me my money. They did that in that movie 0 Day. That's on Netflix. It's a series, not a movie. Banks shut down, man. People was rioting and acting a fool out there because the banks could not. It was the grid got taken out. Couldn't access their money. That's the dangers when everything is digitized. You can have 10 million Bitcoin, but guess what? The system go down. You can't access that money because everything is at the push of a button. You can't get it unless you press a button. But it's always good to have a little paper on hand just in case, so that you can maintain. Let's say something happened to your job. Your job gets hacked, and the direct deposits get delayed, and the banks is trying to figure it out, and you was counting on that money, and you got to get gas, food for the weekend, and they saying we might have access to your money by Tuesday. Make sure you got something to get by. Don't be running over there to the payday loan spot saying, hey man, the bank shut down, I need this loan. So those ain't nothing but loan sharks and small hats that's over there, exercising their hook nose, devious, monetary greed, taking advantage of people. If you got the ability to put a little something away for a rainy day, do that. Because you never know when you might need to pull it out. Right? Yeah, absolutely, Hadassah. Tangibles, trades, that's right. Silver, gold, all those things is necessary. All those things are necessary. Having a bartering system amongst your people, man. You know, and I'm gonna put it out there for brothers again. We've been talking about investing to get a storage of meat and getting a cow. We got connections with farms and all that, man. We've been talking about it for years and we've not moved on it. So we have to really consider, like, hey, we're gonna really do this. We got better do it because the price of beef is just going up even more and more. And before you know, it's gonna be like, man, we can't even do that idea no more. We can't afford it. So let's think about it. All right. I'm gonna stop there, man. Y'all can write down Exodus 16 as well, starting at like 11 on down, because that was the law with the Sabbath. We were told that get double, prepare double for that downtime that you can't cook or gather or do anything else. So even that was part of the law. That's part of the wisdom. So when that Sabbath hit, you couldn't buy, couldn't sell, couldn't cook, couldn't go out gather. What'd you have to do? You had to go back there and say, the Lord said, man, gather double, store it up. It ain't gonna rot. It ain't gonna kill you. It'll be fresh and ready for you to eat that morning, that day. So even by law, we've been told, get double to make sure that you're prepared. That's all part of it. What do? We have Sabbath preparations and the preparation day, as is known as in the New Testament. What are we preparing for? We want to make sure that when we're unable to do things, that we have everything in order already. All right, make sense? If I'm making sense, throw a 7 in the chat. Help me know that I ain't talking to the wind. Even though the Lord said prophesy to the wind, but I know y'all ain't over here as the wind. Throw a 7 in the chat if I'm making sense before we move on. All right, all praise to the Most High. All right, so let's get to it, man. I'm gonna try to breeze through some of these, but here's what your man says earlier, and this is how you know that there is not going to be any particular aspects of peace and negotiations with when a guy is saying this stuff. He says they're going to take the enriched uranium. That's supposed to be the red line that Iran is talking about. They're willing to negotiate about it, a lot of other things, but they keep talking about you want our enriched uranium. That's a no-go. Trump said, well, we're going to take it.
Más campero, por menos dinero. Pollo Campero te da más por menos.
Cover this demon.
We had some pretty good news 20 minutes.
Hold on. Let me back it up real quick. All right, here we go.
We had some pretty good news 20 minutes ago, but it seems to be going very well in the Middle East with Iran. We'll know over a little period of time. We're negotiating over the weekend. And as you know, we have the blockade. The blockade's been very successful. And of equal success has been the...
Hey, you know, there's one thing, too. He always surrounds himself with female reporters. That just goes along with the, the allegations of his associations with, Epstein, right? Loves to surround himself with beautiful women, the pageantries, everything else, right? All I'm saying is it's just ironic. You don't see no men there. You always got the little women around him, the little young blonde reporters and all that. So he can boast about, his exploits of what he's doing over there in Iran. So he said they had good talks. They're gonna have some more this weekend. Mind you, this was, I think, yesterday, or I think it was yesterday that this dropped. So this is before the news came out later. Okay.
Over a little period of time, we're negotiating over the weekend. And as you know, we have the blockade. The blockade's been very successful. And of equal success has been the 5 weeks before the blockade. The combination was pretty lethal, I would say. So we're going to be knowing very shortly but we're talking over. I expect things to go well. Many of these things have been negotiated and agreed to.
You say that Iran has agreed to turn over their nuclear dust.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Are they destroying their nuclear material?
No.
They're turning it over. Can you walk us through what that
We're
process
taking
looks
it.
like, sir?
We're taking it.
Now, did you hear that? The first of all, he said that they're having great talks. They're going to talk this weekend. It's almost complete. Clearly, that didn't go down because here we are, the day of the week's end today, and Iran has shut the Strait down and told them ain't no deals happening. And they just said, well, we hear that Iran has, decided to hand over their nuclear dust and all that. Does that mean that they're going to hand over? He said, no, we're taking it. Taking it.
Can you walk us through what that process
We're taking
looks like,
it.
sir?
We're taking it. Very simple. We're taking it. Yeah. With Iran. We're going in with Iran.
Does that mean U.S.
We're
boots on the
taking it.
ground?
We will have it. I don't call it boots on the ground. We'll take it after the agreement is signed. After there's a big difference. Before and after. BC. It's before and after.
Sir,
BC. This guy, man, if you just let him talk, he will put his foot in his mouth and he's going to say something that condemns everything that he said or offends other nations. And that's what ends up everything going awry. So he said, we're going to wait till after they sign a deal and then we're going to take it. And Iran's already saying we're not agreeing to that. So if they sign a deal that says, okay, yeah, we agree that we're, you can have the enriched uranium and everything else. They sign that. And then he's saying, we're going to go right against that. And we're going to take it from them.
Are there going to be restrictions?
And after the agreement is signed, it's a lot different than before. We would have taken it. If we didn't have an agreement, we would take it. But I don't think we'll have to.
Sir, in the Strait, are there going to be...
Okay, so there's no agreement. So what's that mean? He's going to have to go on his word and go and take it. That means by force, right? Well, in the spirit of Esau, y'all know where we're going. He said we was going to take it, but since they want to have a deal, then we're going to have them sign the deal and then we'll take it. I mean, either way, he's talking about taking something by what? Micah 2, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. So by all intents and purposes, we see the wicked, we see Esau living in that spirit and saying, we're going to take it. We're going to take it. Regardless, they can sign a deal. We're taking it. If they don't sign a deal, we're taking it. But I don't think we're going to have to take it because, we got the format. So the man said he's taking it regardless. And he loves to, stick his chest out and talk tough in front of these little blind, dog reporters and have them believe that, oh, our president, he's so tough. Huh? That's all this is. Machismo, bravado, he's out there acting as if, hey, if they don't like it, I'm taking it. And if they like it, I'm taking it. Okay, let's see how they react to that.
2 Iranian gunboats have opened fire on a tanker about 20 miles northeast of Oman. That puts them very close to the Strait of Hormuz. The captain of the vessel saying that the 2 IRGC gunboats approached his vessel, his tanker. There was no radio communication. He tried to call out to them. They didn't respond, and then they opened fire. The tanker and the crew are safe, we understand. But this does seem to indicate that Iran is putting a chill on any tanker movement through the Strait of Hormuz. Just a couple of hours ago, they said they were rescinding their opening of the Strait of Hormuz. There was anger expressed in Iran yesterday following their announcement of the opening of the Strait of Hormuz when President Trump said the U.S. blockade would remain in place. The Iranians reacted negatively. And this does put not just...
So this goes back to every negotiation that's been happening. He always comes out and says everything's under control. They're doing what I'm telling them to do. The war is almost over. We've taken everything from them. They don't have nothing but sticks and stones left. And Iran comes out, it's like, what? Anytime you hit a bunker, man, we rebuilding that thing within 24 hours. What are you talking about? Oh, we've got endless missiles and hypersonic weapons and so forth and so on. What are you talking about? Who are you negotiating with? Now he just came out again. Oh, everything's going great. We're having a great conversation. We're going to continue on in this weekend. They're giving us everything that we want. They're pretty much surrendering. The Strait of Hormuz is fully open. He's been saying all this stuff, and now they just said the Iranians, when they hear him talk, they react negatively because they know he's a damn demon. This is why Iran calls America the Great Satan. I mean, the Bible said it first, but however, I mean, not necessarily that they're the Great Satan, but we know who's operating this place. Every nation looks at America as being operated under Satan's authority, man. Even back in the mid-90s, when Cesar Chavez was the president of Venezuela, and George Bush had just left and had a speech at the same podium that Cesar Chavez came up to. Cesar Chavez, first thing he says is, man, it still smells like sulfur after Bush left. That should tell you something, man. Now look at this.
Blockade would remain in place. The Iranians reacted negatively, and this does put not just a chill on the movement of traffic in the Strait of Hormuz, but also on the possibility of peace talks coming here to Islamabad over the next couple of days. They were expected on Tuesday, but there's been strong pushback from Iranian officials about President Trump's statements, about Iran officials about they were expected.
You see, that's an important visual right there, because you know what? When you see stuff like this, right, and you see all of these particular ships, man, needing to pass through this strait to continue on with their commerce and their business, you know, the main players in the game you see is America, right? And Iran. Now, look at this. Revelation 18. Man, I don't want to keep going. I keep going up, it's deep. But I'm going to just read from 12 down, right? This is all you see where the maritime ships, imports, exports is so key with Revelation 18, Revelation 8, regarding where and how things are going to start collapsing, how things are getting transported back and forth. The biggest importers and exporters and controllers of those things all run through Babylon. Yeah, Iran's got the ability to stop and shut down the strait, but what? As soon as they get over there, man, America's the first ones who saying, no, we need to open this thing back up. We're going to put our own blockade. We got our allies, and we got people that, you know, we do business with that's being shut down. We can't get no money. If they can't get no money, if they can't get their, you know, their particular countries in operation, then we're suffering. So we got to go over there and break them things open. So this is why we see that Babylon being in control of a lot of this particular merchandising and things like that, even down to the Strait of Hormuz. This is why they're battling and fighting, because they're in control of a lot of the shipping and the imports and exports and impose their will. That's why they wanted the Panama Canal. They're like, man, we don't need China, you know, over there no more. I want that. You know, Trump, that was one of the first things he said. He wants the Panama Canal. He wants Greenland. He wants any place that he wants Greenland for the defense. He wants the Panama Canal to get the imports and exports and the minerals and everything else flowing through. He's over there wanting the strait, because this is all part of Babylon's stronghold. Verse 12, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet, and all the thine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense, and wine and oil and fine flour, and wheat and beasts and sheep. These are all things of value. These are all things of buying and selling merchandise. These are all things of commerce that America is in control of, that all nations need and are relying upon them to make sure that everything flows smoothly. And if it doesn't, all the nations looking at America, solve this, get this done. Because remember when Trump popped out and he you know, rebuked the EU and NATO and told them, look, if you don't want to help me open up the strait, man, go get your own oil then. Don't rely on me no more. Get it yourself. Continuing on, it says, the beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. This is why when the Lord said, come up out of her, my people, but then when you go to Isaiah 52, it says, deliver thee your soul. Because it ain't necessarily about you physically running up out of here. It's about people attaching their soul, their spirit to this place, fully investing in the red, white, and blue, and the Star Spangled Banner and everything else, and the witchcraft and the sorceries and the false doctrines and the religions and the idol worship and like when our people fully invest in them things, man, that's when it's over with. Your soul now is attached to this whore. And it says, and where the slaves is at? Well, guess what? Who's the greatest importer of slaves? America. Through the conquering of the North, South, Central America, the Caribbean islands, and all that, man. This place has nothing but the descendants of the captives of transatlantic slave trade, the conquistadors, you name it, all right here. And the home of the slave, what's what they call America? Something, home of the slave, land of the, I forgot what they called it. Land of the captives, home of the slaves, or something like that, instead of home of the brave. But anyway, any place where the children of Israel are being held captive, that nation is on top. So we see here, this is a place where all the slaves is at, souls of men. Verse 14, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after and are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee. So America is going to lose a stronghold on all of the things that they were once being able to freely flow around and export, import, and get money and generate income and have healthy commerce throughout the world. It said that those things are going to be taken out of their hands. America is not going to be the land of milk and honey, the land of opportunity and all that anymore. This place is going to be destitute. They're already talking about how tourism is down. People are not coming to America like they used to. The luster of America is falling. Goodly and departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchant of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off. So how are they standing afar off and they're able to see America burning in the smoke? Look at the Strait of Hormuz. How far off do you have to be to see America being destroyed? Where are all the ships and the company of ships and the sailors and the merchantmen and everybody else being caught up at right now? Again, when you go back and you look at that visual,
to Iranian,
and you see how many ships,
Hormuz, but also
look at all these ships here that are relying upon this thing, that all have connection to America, a connection to Europe, connection to the kings of the East, so forth and so on. This is the heavy area over here where prophetically you can see why there's going to be problems, right? So it said they're going to see all these things go down, and America's going to be involved as they are right now. Let me get one more precept in Revelation 8, and I'm gonna double back. I'm gonna cover this chapter and probably chapter 9. Most I will in the near future. I'll probably do chapter 8 maybe next Sabbath, more fly permit. But when you just see, I just want to read verse 8 and 9, Revelation 8 and 9, right? And this is the trumpets that's being blown, and one of the trumpets that was acknowledged, I think this is the third trumpet. It says, and the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. So when you're looking at the mountains, you can look at it physically, because in those areas of mountainous regions over there, the islands that they got over there, Karg Island is one of the islands that's over there. And I'm not saying this is just subject to the Strait of Hormuz in that particular area. This is where you see the starting up of a lot of maritime warfare that could be going on, because what are they doing? They're sending more ships. America's gonna send like 4 battleships over there right now. Iran's got their warships out there. You've got Hezbollah, they got ships down there in Yemen and whatnot. So there's going to be warfare that happens on the ships, or on the seas, I should say, right? And the great mountains, and mountains also could represent nations and peoples. It says burning with fire was cast in the sea. Where's the fire going to come from? They're firing rockets, they're firing bullets, they're firing ammunitions at, and they will be firing at particular ships. And the third part of the sea became blood. Yeah, so there's going to be blood. There's going to be a destruction of the waters and the things that surround the waters, right? Verse 9, it says, and the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. So there's going to be destructions among ships. What ends up happening? You know, depending on the type of weaponry that gets used, it could even come via nukes. It could come, which would contaminate the waters. But even if not, you got destruction of the waters. Oil gets spilled in the waters. Gas gets spilled in the waters. Blood in the waters. What's going to happen to the livestock? What happened with not Hiroshima. What's the name of that? Not Daiichi. That power plant that got destroyed in the earthquake in Japan in 2010. And they said the nuclear reactors got ruptured off, man, and all the nuclear fallout went into the waters. The fish got all jacked up. The livelihood of the seas was not trusted no more. The level of mercury in the fish that was coming from the east, that was coming up on the shores in Alaska that the fishermen was catching, all that. They said the high level of mercury was in there. The fish could not be consumed. Sailors, that was just Fukushima, the water, Oscar Rob. Fukushima. Sailors that was miles off, that was coming in to help, start developing cancer just from the fallout, right? So these are things that's going to end up happening, and it's going to happen over in that particular area as well, because that's what we see, an assembly of ships getting ready for warfare. So that's one of the trumpets that's getting blown. That's one of the things that we're being alerted of, right? And then you see, because of the activity of all these particular ships and how many actually inhabit that area, you can see how it's going to be a particular area of interest when it's all said and done. All right. So, like I said, I'll double back on Revelation 8, Lord willing, next weekend. But right after he got out there bragging about what he's gonna do, and the great talks that's happening and all that, Iran says, F all that. We heard what you said, and if that's what it is, no more talks.
Over the next.
All right. Now look here. Iran bats down baseless Trump claim on handing over enriched uranium to the U.S. as he declares Hormuz never again closed. He said that they'll never close the Strait of Hormuz again. Iran immediately comes out and denies and said, there you go again, lying again. God dang. We cannot talk to this guy. This guy cannot tell the truth to save his life. He goes out there, but it gets deeper though, because many of y'all may know, but if you don't know, there's a reason why he's constantly going out there teasing. Things are going good, things are good, things are going bad, things are going good, things are going great. Because he's looking at the markets, he's looking at his billionaire buddies, he's looking at his investments, he's looking at how things are affecting the economy. He's trying to inspire and tell the other countries, man, don't worry, I got it under control. We're good. Now, Iranian source in the conversation, Al-Arabi al-Jadid, Trump's claim about the delivery of Iran's enriched uranium is baseless. Remember, he just got through telling them little reporters, oh yeah, they're going to hand it over. And after they hand it over, we're going to just take it. I mean, which is it, man? Are they going to deliver and give it to you? Or are you calling that taking? They said, man, this is baseless, man. What's he talking about? We're not handing over anything. So, in other words, I guess he's living by the words of get down or lay down. I'm just going to take it. That must be what he's going to have to do. Which means you can forget about any particular more peace talks about this weekend. They were supposed to resume talks in Pakistan, I think, on Tuesday. How that's going to go down, we'll see. Trump said after he heard about this, he said, oh, Iran's trying to get cute, but, we're still going to talk to him. Iranian source in the conversation, Al-Arabi al-Jadid, only civilian ships can pass through the Strait of Hormuz, and that too through routes specified by Iran. Now, this is before they went to shooting. This was yesterday. Iran came out and said, yeah, the Strait of Hormuz is open. However, it's open to who we want to deal with, and we're going to make them pay. Trump came out, they opening it up all the way, and nobody's paying. Everything's great. They like, what are you talking about, man? We're the ones setting the tone. We've waited a few hours to make sure that a ceasefire has been established in Lebanon. Then we temporarily opened the Strait of Hormuz. He said it's never going to be closed again. It's fully open. The announcement of the temporary opening of the Strait of Hormuz and the ceasefire in Lebanon are part of the agreement. So they had to, mind you, even with that, they had a ceasefire with Lebanon and Israel. As the ceasefire was being signed, Lebanon was bombing, the small hats was bombing back. They were still going at it. So they be lying about these damn ceasefires and all that because bodies are still dropping. So we see here, Agent Orange is out here lying again. The excessive demands complaint is exactly the same Iranian position prior to Friday when Trump made a series of massive claims and declarations on some kind of a agreed to and imminent final peace deal. The latest, Iran says its enriched uranium is, quote, sacred to us as the soil of Iran. It will not be transferred anywhere under any circumstances. Adding that 60% of enriched uranium will not leave the country, quote, in any way, per Iran's foreign ministry via Tasneem. So that should tell you something. That's why I said that's the red line. They ain't having it. And Agent Orange is saying, well, we're just going to take it. That means that's a declaration of war. When you're dealing with a highly religious people like the Iranians, and they're saying something is sacred to them, and you're saying, I'm going to take that, you're basically telling them, man, get ready for war. What happened when the children of Israel, man, had the temple raided during the time of the Maccabees? That was sacred to us, man. We was willing to die for it. And some of our people did die for it, but guess what? We ended up getting it back in blood and got our temple back and rededicated it to the Most High. You don't think the Iranians play by the same rules? Think about it. Continue on. CNN's Richard Quest reports ships aren't actually sailing through the Strait of Hormuz despite Trump's assurances. So CNN coming out, calling him on his lies. He's acting like the ships is all flowing through. Everything's great. The strait's going to be opened up, but we're still going to have the U.S. blockades up there, essentially saying the U.S. is regulating who can come in and who can't go. It ain't Iran. Iran's just going to open it up and we'll regulate who comes in. They said that's a lie. CNN popped out and said, hey, man, ships ain't even sailing through there, even though he's running around and saying business is back open again. No, it wasn't and never was. Okay. U.S. sends 1,000 more troops to the Mideast as Trump seeks to squeeze Iran. So here you are talking about peace deals, this Hormuz open up. How is that happening if you keep sending more and more troops over there? He said the war was over with for like the 10th time. He just said that earlier in the week. The war is pretty much over. We got everything we want. We're just going to have the final talks this weekend to wrap up everything. And everything's good. Meanwhile, 6,000 more troops get sent over there as he's saying the war is over. Saudi Arabia pressures Trump to scale back the war on Iran. Well, why is Saudi Arabia jumping in and saying, hey, scale back? Well, obviously, because of the money, the finances. They even cut him off from the little golf, the live tournament. They shut that down. That was like billions of dollars investments for, the golf fanatics and all that other stuff. And they was, important people over. Where is that at? See, the Saudi Arabia viewed, hold on. Saudi Arabia, live golfers scrambling amid Saudi funding questions. Live golf struggles financially, hanging on by a thread. So look, even Ishmael's coming in saying, man, look, we're over here struggling, man. One of the hotels in Dubai, they just shut down, citing restructuring or something like that. Now, once you start messing with Ishmael's money, who, they supposed to be rolling in dough, right? But even then, they like, hey, man, you got to shut this down. What the heck's going on here? Hold on. They telling him calm down, knock it off. But this is why you can't trust this guy, man. Psalms 28:3. Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors. We got everything under control. Under control. Yeah, we're pretty much done. We're going to have good talks this weekend. Everything's going great. The Strait's fully open. And meanwhile, it's all lies. They tell the neighbors, "Hey, we got peace talks coming up this weekend. Hey, Saudis, calm down. UK, relax. France, I got it. Speak peace with the neighbors, but what mischief is in their hearts? Send more troops. We're going to take it. If they don't give it up, we're going to bomb it." You dig what I'm saying? This is why you can't deal with the wicked, man. When he speaketh fair, believe him not. We know that, right? So the Saudis is telling him, look, get this under control. We need you to, calm down. Come on now. What is going on? Calm down. Because what? Let's go back over there to what is happening? What happened here? Now my keyboard is acting up. See, there goes Satan now. Every time I move this mouse, this thing is acting up. Man, Satan boy. Look at this. I'm trying to open up this book. It just keeps opening up more tabs. What the hell? See, there goes Satan, man. He came in and messed up my keyboard. What the heck is going on? Look at this stuff, man. I don't know what's going on. What happened? But Satan jumped on here, man, and messed with my damn computer to where I can't even open up the scriptures no more. It keeps opening up more tabs. Okay, maybe let's try this one. Nope. What the hell happened? All right, it is what it is, man. But Ecclesiastes 10:19 tells us that money answers all things, man. So the Arabs is talking about they want money. They want everything to calm down because they get hit in their pockets, right? And one thing for sure, two things for certain, man, the scriptures in 1 Timothy 6, the Most High said the love of money is the root of what? All evil. The love of money is where the evil is going to be found. So guess what? You see some evil going on, follow the money. He's going to tell us everything. Saudi Arabia is telling Trump, fall back on the war. He's in too deep, man. Why? Because it's hurting their pockets too now. All right. Look at this. Traders place over $1 billion in perfectly timed bets on the Iran war. What's going on? Esau is out here profiteering off of the war. They're hedging their bets accurately when they're going to bomb, when the peace talk's going to happen, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. And they out here making $1 billion worth of bets. The rich just get richer, man. They out here playing with people's lives, playing with whole countries' existences, hedging their bets on genocide. And you trying to tell me, man, that this man and his people who actually, are complicit with the evils that happen, that this country promotes, that they're worthy of salvation, that they're going to be hand in hand with us in the kingdom? Get the F out of here. 16 bets made $100,000 accurately predicting the timing of the U.S. airstrikes against Iran on the 27th of February. Later, a single user would make over $550,000 after betting that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei would topple just moments before his assassination by Israeli forces. So there's insider trading going on. Words is getting spoken on. So when Agent Orange jumps out and says, oh, we're going to have peace talks this weekend. Oh, is that a fact? Yeah, that's a fact. Okay. $100,000 is going to be peace talks this weekend. Oh, $100,000 is going to be a ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. And they go and they cash in their money, man. So this is all based upon money. This is all based upon greed. People are profiteering off of this war. All of this stuff, man. This wickedness at its highest level. Look, Now, it said the U.S. considers a $20 billion cash for uranium deal with Iran. One thing for sure, we covered this last week in Isaiah the 13th chapter. It said that the Medes, or in other words, the Persians, which equate to the Iranians, it said that they're not going to be bought with silver and gold. So this would be interesting because this is part of the deal that they were saying this was the last thing. Cash for uranium. Now, mind you, Agent Orange said they're going to take it. But this was supposed to be, they were supposed to, relinquish $20 billion that they had in holdings. So it's Iran's money. But because of the sanctions and everything else, Agent Orange is saying, well, we'll give you your money back if you give up that uranium. So this is what the contingency is. $20 billion for all of their uranium. They just got through saying this is sacred to us, our land, this, that, and the third. We ain't giving up nothing. By no means. So when the scriptures tell us that in Isaiah the 13th chapter, that silver and gold, they're going to toss that in the, you can't buy them off. By the actions that happen today, that's to let it be known that that's not going to move them. Another thing is, why would you give them? Listen, Agent Orange condemned Slow Biden for giving, I think it was $6 billion back to the Iranians. And then next thing you know, October 7th happened. They said, well, look, you're going to give them money, the biggest state-sponsored terrorist organization in the world, and you're giving them money. Slow Biden is to blame. Now, he's getting it. They have Iran categorized as the number one state-sponsored country in the world, biggest financiers of terrorism, and you're getting ready to give them $20 billion. Does that make sense? Meanwhile, America, being the hypocrites that they are, as they will say that Iran is the biggest terrorist. How about America though? Is America the biggest? Is America terrorist at all? No. America dictates who the terrorists are, and they tell you what year and when. Iran, 1979. They're the biggest terrorist organization, or state-sponsored terrorist organization in the world. Well, who said so? We said so. We say who's terrorist and who isn't. Can we acknowledge America's terrorism with the conquering of the Americas and the transatlantic slave trade and everything else? Transporting human cargo from the western shores of Africa all the way over here to the shores of Brazil and the east coast of America for free labor, under oppression, murder, rape, so forth and so on. Is that terrorism? How about Venezuela? They just got terrorized. They're talking about terrorizing Cuba right now. Right now, they're economically terrorizing them, cutting off all oil supplies and resources to them and food. And that's not terrorism. How about Native Americans, man? Were they terrorized when them damn ships hit the shores in South Central America and the Caribbean islands? And they jumping out with musket guns and swords and shields and armor and everything else, and taking land and seizing women and children and bringing them in as captives and slaves. Read the book Devastation of the Indies by Bartolome de las Casas about how they terrorized the island of Hispaniola, having competitions about who can slice a man in half with one swipe of the sword. I guess that doesn't count, huh? How about 9/11? Dare we even go there? Iraq and the Gulf War. That was remember the girl Nayira that was talking about, they killed the babies in the incubator and they're killing her, and that was a lie set upon war. Vietnam, the Gulf of Tonkin, that was set upon a lie on a war. General Wesley Clark talked about the 7 countries that need to be taken down: Iraq, Syria, Libya, Iran, Sudan, Somalia. Actually, Iran was the last one, which we're in phase with right now. Gaddafi. I mean, the list goes on and on, man. Who's the real terrorist? But meanwhile, they're going to sit out here and give them willing to give a so-called known funder of terrorism $20 billion Does that make sense? I mean, come on, man. Let me get out of here before I lose my mind. This place is hypocrisy to its all-time highs, man. Continuing on, Mossad chief declares mission in Iran not over until the regime falls. So, is there going to be peace? If you leave it to the small hats, they saying, man, until there's a legitimate regime change and the small hats in America is in control, and the Greater Israel project and the Ben Gurion project is not in effect, there is not going to be any ending to the war. So this little 10-day ceasefire with Lebanon and all that, listen, man, these cats is already acknowledging. We're going to slow it down just to see if we can get the financial situation set up with America. We're not, but guess what? Lebanon, Hezbollah, Iran, they're not falling for the okie doke, because every time they do, America goes and does something just the opposite. Agent Orange goes out there and puts his foot in his mouth, shows his hand, and they like, you can't trust this damn devil, man. Ain't nothing stopping. We're gonna keep going. So if the Mossad chief says that the mission in Iran is not gonna be over until the regime falls, that means until Iran is completely under the boot of America and the small hats. There ain't gonna be no ceasefire. There's not gonna be no end to anything. So, by their own admission, as Psalm 64 says, their tongue shall fall upon themselves. By their own admission, man. Hey, man, when he shows you who he is, believe him. So don't believe these peace talk here. Ceasefire for 10 days. We got a 72-hour fallback. It'll be back on. Don't worry. Macron says a French soldier was killed and 3 were wounded in an attack on peacekeepers in Lebanon. Oh, really? This was after the ceasefire, huh? The UN peacekeeping force in southern Lebanon came under attack with small arms fire Saturday morning, leaving 1 French peacekeeper dead and 3 wounded, 2 of them seriously. France's president and the force known as UNIFIL said the attack near the southern Lebanese village of Gondoriye came after a 10-day ceasefire. After a 10-day ceasefire went into effect at midnight Thursday between Israel and Lebanon's militant Hezbollah group. Less than 48 hours, man, bodies is back dropping again. But blame them, because they said it's not going to be, the mission's not over until Iran is completely in submission. And Hezbollah is fighting on behalf of Iran. I mean, even though they had their own warfare going on, but Hezbollah receives its funding and is in alignment with Iran. So let's knock off the folly. We see what's really going on. Look at it. Airport Council International warns of fuel shortages if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened amid U.S.-Iran war talks. So this is why Agent Orange is so pressed to try to end, this whole thing, man. The airport is saying, look, man, we're running low on fuel. We got to shut things down. We're limiting flights. We need to get this thing back going. And everybody's looking at him, the mother of all harlots. He's sitting on top of the beast as the hoe of the world. And they all saying, feed us, give us more. What happened? We're shortages over here. This industry going to shut down. You got to help us. And that's why he's saying, well, if we can't get it done, we're just going to take it, which essentially is going to lead to greater expansions of the war. Europe has maybe 6 weeks of jet fuel left. Energy agency heads tells the AP. 6 weeks, man, a month and a half left of jet fuel. So transportation in Europe is getting ready to be even worse, because guess what? That strait ain't going up. That strait ain't opening up. Imagine that. Australia's petrol stations run dry as energy crisis turns existential. Soaring prices and supply fears leave farmers weighing up whether they can afford to plant crops. That's just in Australia, man. They talking about look at it. And that's interesting. In the film Mad Max, an oil shortage leaves Australian society teetering on the brink of total collapse. In real life, things aren't quite that dystopian yet down under, but with barely a month of stockpiled diesel left, hundreds of forecourts running dry, the anxiety is palpable. Australia has one of the highest per capita rates of diesel consumption in the world, but it relies almost entirely on imports. To meet that demand, there are 2 domestic refineries producing petrol, but up to 90% of that is imported too. Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz has stifled 1/5 of the world's supply of oil. Much of this goes to Asian refineries that supply Australia. Now they're running short. So Australia running dry on gas, diesel. Well, now the farmers are saying we can't even afford to fill up these damn tractor trailers and everything else so that we can mass produce food until we get this oil kicked in. And as it stands right now, that ain't happening no time soon. And like I said, even if it did open up, they said it's going to take like 2 years for things to get back flowing like it used to. Let's continue. Let's see, look at this. Now it's freezing up, man. Am I frozen? Y'all help me out. If y'all can hear me, throw 7 in the chat. It look like I may have frozen up. This thing is, see, look at now I want to open up. Good Lord, man. Satan, boy. Okay, let's continue on. We're all right. Think we back on. All right. Now it says the U.S. intelligence shows China is taking a more active role in the war. Yeah. Well, that's obvious because we've heard Russia and we heard China having given Iran access to their radar and their satellites to pinpoint American targets and things of that nature. We've seen that China actually they've been finding hypersonic missiles that were of Chinese origin that's being used. So the kings of the East are what? Migrating over there on the warfare tip, just as Revelation 16 tells us. They don't have to actively be joining in there with Chinese troops on the ground and all that. No. All they need to do is by proxy be involved right now. Eventually they're going to get involved full blown. But right now, by proxy, yeah. China may have shipped missiles to Iran, and Beijing is allowing some companies to sell to Iran supplies that can be used in military production. American officials say, yeah, well, they're allies. What's the problem? Ain't nobody crying when America is leaning, or the small hats keep leaning on America to come help them. America's got NATO behind them. Every time when the other nations say, well, we're going to get our allies to come help. Oh, it's a big old problem. All's fair in love and war, man. So yeah, China is going to get involved. Turkey brands Nettanyahu, the Hitler of our time, after a post accusing a Trojan of slaughter. So Turkey, as we can see, is involved in this. Ezekiel 38 makes mention of Turkey. When you see Meshach and Tubal, those areas and the areas of Turkey, Turkey has an alignment with NATO. However, with the European Union. However, they've been expressing their desire to get up out of there, and they're not going to turn their backs on their brothers in Iran and so forth and so on, right? And the president of Turkey and the prime minister has already been on record saying everybody hates America. And they don't like the small hats either. So this is par for the course. And the fact that they're saying that Nettanyahu is compared to the man with the little mustache is very interesting, because what are we talking about? We're talking about what? Genocide of a people, man. We're talking about starving them out, sabotaging the food supplies, bombarding, refugee encampments, doing unspeakable things to these people, man. So far to the point that he's on trial right now for corruption and for war crimes. So is this a fair assessment? You be the judge. Think about it. You know them by the fruit that they bear. Y'all seen this, man. This guy's out of control. Ironically, this is right before I did DSTM a week or two ago, and was quoting about the man of perdition being revealed in 2 Thessalonians 2. That was the part of the titling of the video. And then next thing you know, here he goes, putting himself in the imagery as the scriptures say, that he's going to set himself up as the Most High, and not to say that Christ is the Most High. We don't subscribe to the Trinity, however, but we're looking at him trying to establish himself as a holy figure, as one that is to be worshipped. And he's gone through what we've seen. What's her name? Paula Jones? Not Paula Jones. Paula. I keep wanting to call her Paula Jones, but his little pastor. That she was out there trying to compare him to Christ. He's believing the hype, man. He's believing the hype. And they out here worshiping him. He's talking about he's the chosen one and all that. So now when he goes out there and says what he says and does what he does and starts promoting and putting out these little memes and all this other stuff, trolling everybody, man, this dude's got a God complex. But isn't that what the scriptures say? In Isaiah the 14th chapter, he's going to be like the Most High. So him posting himself as a false image of Hamashiach Yahushua it should be no surprising. But did y'all hear his excuse? He said, "Yeah, I reposted it. That was me." But look what he said.
It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor.
Huh? Him as a doctor. Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with that narrative. Here's a woman down here that's a nurse. She's in her scrubs. She's got the stethoscope. She got the hat on. If he's a doctor, why wouldn't he have the same attire as a doctor? The scrubs, right? He says, "Yeah, I did promote it. I did post it. I thought it was me as a doctor." When have you seen a doctor with this type of garment on, with hands glowing and him healing by laying hands on some? Good Lord, man. This guy, like I said, he can't tell the truth, man, to save his life, man. Let it finish.
Me, I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and it had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the
Red Cross. He said there's a Red Cross worker there. What? Huh? Where's the Red Cross worker? Where's the Red Cross logo? Anything? But he says this is all set up by the fake news people.
And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, "How did they come up with that?" It's supposed to be me as a doctor, making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
Golly, man. No words. Y'all know this dude is full of. He's a doctor. He heals people. He makes people better. And anybody that says that picture doesn't look like him as a doctor healing people is fake news and liars. Saying, how did they come up with that? Give me 1 second, y'all. These goddamn people out here, man, disturbing the live, boy. Let me see. Now this thing wants to. Golly, man. Give me 1 second, y'all. My whole keyboard is jacked up, man. Man. All right, Slocky, y'all. Let me get on back over here. All right. So we see this. He says that if you can't see him as a doctor in this picture, it's fake news, man. Something's wrong with you. This guy is wild. I mean, I thought Slow Biden was bad, man. I thought nobody could top him. But he's giving him a run for his money, man. He's giving him a run for his money. Now, the conspiracy theorists and others have been pointing out this particular part of the picture where you can kind of see here an image of what many are saying a demon with horns leading the troops, standing over the image of Agent Orange. And that would only go along with the scriptures when, the scriptures say that Revelation 12. I don't know why I can't. What's up with my damn keyboard, man? But I don't want to have to restart it and because that'll shut down the live. But you go to Revelation 12 and it says that Satan was cast out and the angels with him. When you're talking about the agents of Satan, man, those who have made allegiances with Satan, being under Satan's authority. Revelation 13 says that power was given unto the beast via the serpent. So when you see an image like this, who's empowering? It looked like a satanic figure standing over America and his quote unquote angels, his warfare. And they said that these same ones are going to try to make war with Michael. They're going to try to fight Christ too. So this imagery is very interesting, right? So you see here, that was just something else I wanted to bring out if y'all ain't noticed that one. But this guy's a demon, man, for real. Look, and then he got the nerve to post it. This was his clapback. After this, he went and posted this. Who the hell is the guy next to him? I mean, the blasphemy just goes beyond control. So not only does he say, first he puts himself as an image of a fake image of Yahushua. Then he reposts another image with a fake image of Yahushua, embracing him like, they get ready to have a moment and lock eyes and maybe lips. You dig what I'm saying? Look at his hand. His hand is touching his chest, around his arm, knocking heads together. Man, this picture looks suspect as hell. But he figured that this was a good image. Oh, Christ embraces me. That ain't even Christ. First of all, we all know this, but good Lord, man, this is ridiculous. The blasphemy is out of control. But let's see. Look at how the Iranians responded to it. This one I like. Did y'all see this? What's up with this? Now I don't want to play. Oh, come on now. See, now I don't want to play, right? But if y'all seen this one anyway, this damn thing. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, if y'all seen this video, man, the Iranians, man, set up an AI picture and it was Trump in that same, picture. And Caesar Borgia flies down, socks him in the head, and he falls into the pit of hell. They got a lot of the scenarios all jacked up as far as Christ and him going into a pit with a flaming pit and all that. But anyway, it was a funny video that they put. I don't know why this damn thing ain't playing, but anyway, if y'all ever got a chance to see it, Koha, have you seen it? All right, cool. I was trying to play that one, man, but it ain't playing on this for whatever reason. Oh, here it go.
Your reckoning has come.
What is this?
And why I like that one, because remember Yahushua even said in what is it, Isaiah 63 about him coming down his garment dipped in blood, like he's been stepping in the wine vat and all of that. And the first thing you seen was his head getting mollywopped and blood flying all over the place. I was like, yeah, that's about right. That's what Esau got coming to him.
Your reckoning has come.
What is this?
Yeah, that's about right. Minus the damn fake Christ image and all that other stuff, man. But anyway, let's continue on. Let me try to wrap this up before I don't know, this damn computer does something else. But anyway, Trump yanks millions from Catholic charities amid the Pope feud. I mean, this guy's going at it with the papacy. This goes to show you too, man, for the Catholics that's run around or the Christians that's run around saying that the mark of the beast and the beast system is the Roman Catholic Church. they wouldn't be going at it with America if that was the case. They'd be in lockstep together with each other. The Catholic Church ain't the beast system and all that, man. But you see him, he's going at it. They talking about Pope Leo and telling him you need to debate Trump and that. Now he goes back and says, I'm gonna hit you in the pockets, man. Millions of dollars getting yanked from Catholic charities. And the bad thing about it is the Catholics now are going to be looking at them. Look, we're being persecuted for Christ. Oh, no, you're not. Let's knock it off, man. But Agent Orange is leaning toward, because it shows you too, America, when you don't bow down and you don't walk in alignment with the one world beast system, one religion, one government, one monetary system, one way of housing, so forth and so on, man, they start putting people in their place. So the Trump administration has abruptly canceled a multi-million-dollar contract with the Catholic charity that houses and cares for migrant children amid President feud with the Pope, which may be good because, at one point in time, man, there was Catholic charities, man, that was kidnapping and taking kids down in the border. And this is on record, that a lot of missing children were being taken in the name of a particular Catholic charity. A lot of these children were getting put in the Catholic charities' hands, and some of these children are coming up missing. I mean, is that actually the place, a place that's been known to have a bad reputation with the caretaking of children? And we know the background of the Catholic Church. They've been housing and having migrant children in the care of Catholic charities. So this is a win-win for those of us in the faith, where, okay, you're taking money from these Catholic charities, man, who's been overseeing the well-being of kids who have a bad reputation for having an appetite for these little young bodies out here, man. Hey, cut them off then. And then at the same time, as Satan casting out Satan and the divide amongst the elites, this is good news, right? Let me continue on. JD, hold on one second. I'm about to go cut somebody out. A lot of spirits, boy, testing your brother today, y'all. Pray for me. Pray for me, boy. These spirits is out here today, man. Anyway, let's get back real quick. JD Vance humiliated once again after he speaks in an empty stadium for a major Turning Point USA event. So it just shows you again how the collapse of America, the trust in the government system, the voice boxes of the beast. JD Vance, the vice president, the one they saying who may take the mantle from Agent Orange and be the leading candidate for the Republicans or the Republicans in 2028. They said, man, this guy was out here speaking to an empty crowd for the Turning Point USA event, which was, I believe, the same event that Pete Hegseth was out here fake Bible quoting. They said, man, this cat used the same lines that Samuel Jackson used in Pulp Fiction, called himself quoting the Bible. And it's not no Bible verse, man. That was a script for a movie, man. And they run around acting like they're these stone-faced evangelicals. Straight clown stuff going on, man. You can't make a lot of this stuff up, man. If you've seen the picture of JD Vance addressing the Turning Point USA, which is Charlie Kirk's organization that his wife is now involved in, and his wife didn't even show up to the event, citing threats. They said, man, this place is empty. Ain't nobody listening to these people no more, man. JD Vance spoke to less than 25% filled arena for the Turning Point USA event held at the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia. The place was supposed to hold, I think, 60,000, tens of thousands of people supposed to hold that, man. The dude had maybe about 1,000 people in there, if that. Nobody's listening to them no more. Missing nuclear official becomes a 10th person tied to dark patterns surrounding U.S. secrets. There's a issue jumping off right now. I think it's up to 11 now, where they've got these nuclear scientists and people that have nuclear clearances and information regarding the nuclear programs of America. 11 of them are either missing or dead now. Another person with links to America's nuclear secrets has gone missing as a disturbing list of deaths and the disappearances in recent years continues to grow. Stephen Garcia, 48, vanished without a trace August 28th of 2025. He was last seen leaving his Albuquerque, New Mexico home on foot, carrying only a handgun. An anonymous source told the Daily Mail that Garcia was a government contractor working for the Kansas City National Security Campus, a major facility in Albuquerque that plays a key behind-the-scenes role in America's national defense. That's him down here. Where and what's going on with this? I don't know. But where there's smoke, there's fire. And when you got multiple people popping up in the same profession and got access to the same things, and they're either coming up missing or dead, what information do they hold, or who's preventing them from? They could be, threatening to be whistleblowers. They could be getting kidnapped under, and put to death by sleeper cells from, one of these foreign countries that have beef with America. We don't know, but it's very interesting that I believe, like I said, it's up to 11 now that they are, discovering that all these people with the same links are coming up dead or missing. It all has to do with America's nuclear program. Swalwell, Eric Swalwell, running for governor of California, man. Oh, here comes another scandal. Swalwell can't keep his hands to himself. Now he's got to bow out of the race. Swalwell exit shakes up a chaotic California governor's race. Democratic Representative Eric Swalwell's abrupt exit from the race for California governor, then his announcement he would leave Congress, left his rival scrambling to lock down his former supporters in crowded contests with no clear leader, injecting more turmoil into the campaign to lead the nation's most populous state. So California, more turmoil, more trouble. Meanwhile, he's got some sexual assault allegations looming over his head. And at first he stood out there, this is false and I'm going to stand on it. If that's the case, man, why did you bow out of the race so fast? And he's leaving Congress altogether. See, this is the Epstein effect, and then there's some other ones too, man, that came out, man, that's running for their life. The sexual deviancy, man, of Esau, these politicians and all that, man, is being put more to light day by day, and the inner workings that go on in this place, man, from entertainment industry, politics, corporate structures, casting couches, you name it. It's all coming to light, man. From Diddy to you name it. Now you seeing this guy, Democratic Representative Eric Swalwell, he had to leave altogether before everything comes out on him. Look at it. Swalwell's decision to suspend his campaign Sunday follow allegations that he sexually assaulted a woman twice, including when she worked for him, that were published Friday in the San Francisco Chronicle and later by CNN. While pulling out of the race, he remained defiant in a post on the social platform X saying, quote, I will fight the serious false allegations that have been made, but that's my fight, not a campaign's. If you're innocent, man, you're supposed to stand up there and utilize your truth to not back down. And listen, like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire, man. They always say, man, how do you know a politician is lying? Is when his lips are moving. So go figure. Remember last week or the week before last, they were, when Melania jumped out there, man, to defend herself about the Epstein allegations. And I was like, man, there ain't nothing out there that anybody's even tripping about her and her associations with Epstein. Like, where is this coming from? Oh, brothers have shared with me, one of her close confidants at the time, have been laying out a bunch of different tweets threatening Melania about exposing everything and her ties and her husband's ties with Epstein, and she knows everything and all this other stuff. And much of it was because ICE ran down on her and deported her back to Brazil, and Melania and Trump acting like they didn't know her and basically left her hanging, and she's lost custody of her son because of this. So she was thinking, we've had a 20-year relationship, now allegedly her ex-husband had called Trump and said, man, I'm having trouble with her. We're getting ready to get separated, divorced. I want the kid. Send ICE to come scoop her up. And allegedly that's what ended up happening. She got scooped up. She's over in Brazil. And because Melania didn't get her back and didn't stand up for her after a 20-year relationship, she's been airing stuff out on X and saying, I'm going to expose everything. Now, mind you, she's putting all this stuff on the internet the day before Melania goes public and says, I want to clear my name. I don't have anything to do with this. I'm standing with the victims. So this was damage control. So there was chit chatter going on and threats being made that I wasn't aware of. So she tells everybody, I know everything. Brazilian model Amanda Ungaro claims she can expose Melania Trump and the Epstein link. The first lady of the U.S., Melania Trump's public denial of any connection to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has triggered massive online discussion. Much of the attention has been centered on a single account on social media platform X, which made a series of claims linking itself to both Melania Trump and Epstein's social circle. The claims, however, remain unverified. Breaking. I can confirm with 99% confidence that the reason Melania Trump came out yesterday with her Epstein statement is because of information possessed by a former friend and Epstein survivor, Brazilian model Amanda Ungaro. So the plot thickens. That book and that chapter is not closed. As much as Agent Orange has been trying to close the books and everything else, that's why they were saying she came out and said all that, and Agent Orange, he didn't even know she was going to do that. Well, he's not online with her getting all these tweets. And at the time, I think I was looking at the views, because we was looking at it last week. The chick, Amanda Ungaro, her post had been seen by like damn near 1 million people. It was like almost 900 some odd thousand people had seen her post. And then Melania's press conference, it was like 100,000, 200,000 people that watched. I said, oh, she's in trouble. You got all these people paying attention to the accuser than the one who's being accused. So let's see where that goes, man. They already still trying to bury that real quick. You notice ain't nobody talking about Epstein no more. Or they trying to close that door. Everybody's focusing in on the oil, the energy, the pipeline, and what have you. And that's usually what happens, man. When people's pockets is affected, food is on the table, transportation is affected, and all that. People don't give a damn what's going on elsewhere. It's like, man, what about me, my plate, my food, my house, my lights, my gas? I can give a damn if, a homegirl got touched 20 years ago. I need right now. They're playing on that factor, man, the survival mode of everybody, as opposed to exposing the corruption and the wickedness, the vile nature that, America's been running on through its elites. But, we'll see what happens. Look at it. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden, the same guy, got caught with the prostitutes, dope fiend, crackhead, so forth and so on. Made all these particular deals with Ukraine and China and was making all this money and illegally. What's he do? Hunter Biden is quietly bolted from the U.S. and claims he is $17 million in debt. This guy is on the run. Technically, $17 million in debt, man. What's he do? He runs and leaves the U.S. A legal filing submitted this week on behalf of Hunter Biden argues that the son of former President Slow Biden cannot afford to pay his outstanding legal fees. It comes after Hunter Biden himself claimed last year he was $17 million in debt. The paperwork submitted by attorney Barry Coburn on April 6 also claimed that Mr. Biden lives abroad, though Coburn did not specify where. Biden was pictured in South Africa with his wife last year. The Biden crime family, man, this does not stop. Crackhead, dope fiend, womenizing with harlots and the whole nine, embezzlement of money. Now he's $17 million in debt and he goes on the run. And Slow Biden is nowhere to be found. But this is how the white man does, man. But let you be late on the bill. Let you not pay off a little bit of your debt, man. You can't run nowhere. They seizing your house, your assets. They garnishing your wages. They gonna do everything they can. They locking your butt up. You don't pay your taxes. You don't pay your child support. Your ass is grass. This man got $17 million in debt, and he's out there living in. How the hell are you living in South America? In South Africa with no money? These guys be high white collar crime criminals, man, hiding money, embezzling. But let a Jake man steal a damn piece of pizza and he gets his third strike and he's locked up for life. System ain't built for us, y'all. That's a fact. Happiest place on earth, no longer. Layoffs hit Disney, 1,000 jobs cut as Josh D'Amaro unveils streamlining push. So the happiest place on earth, man. 1,000 jobs getting cut too, man. Everything in every sector is getting touched before they do this quote unquote great reset, man. They got to shut and destroy everything and then start resurrecting it under a whole new system of oppression that has never happened before in the history of the world, man. The beast system on the way. Look at the sister, man. No, I think this is a white woman. That wasn't me. Facial recognition led to a woman being in jail for 6 months. That also lets you know the eyes and ears of the beast system, man, is flawed. There's been brothers, there's a brother in New York last year that got locked up over facial recognition that was off. When they get back to the old scenario, man, you all look alike, especially with black folks. The brother that got locked up last year in New York, they said, I think the brother that got locked up was like 6'2" or something like that. The cat they were looking for was like 5'8". The whole physical description was off. The cat had dreads that got locked up. The brother that got locked up, the brother they were looking for, I think, had braids. It was some foolishness. And you got to remember, AI, facial recognition, all that stuff has coders. They have a visionary people that are putting this information into AI, that is collecting all this information, and they're saying this is what you're going to utilize to help the system. Now, if the inputters and the coders are racially biased, if they're the ones putting, you, me, and anybody look like us, you're going to be targeted. We're going to be targeted when this B system really gets kicking and click all cylinders in motion. The cameras on the lights, the cameras on the light poles, the intersections inside the businesses and all this other stuff, the parking lots. When they get the rounding cats up, man, innocent or not, you can see this woman spent 6 months in jail. And she lived in Oklahoma, and they were talking about she did crimes in Maryland. Kimberly Williams, who lived in Oklahoma, was jailed after being accused of crimes in Maryland, a state she told investigators she never visited. And look at this. The quote says, "It's very obvious it's you," an officer in Montgomery County, Maryland, said to Williams, who was handcuffed to a table in the police department. And now with AI imaging, deep fakes, and all this other stuff, man, that's why I've been on record, man. If you see me doing some vile stuff, some foolishness, it is not me. Hell, I showed y'all the video with OpenAI, Sam Altman. They use AI and deep fake videos with him showing him stealing out of a store and the security guard catching him at the door. And it looked just like him. I just seen a video yesterday and I got. And then here I am thinking, pride myself on, I'm thinking I'm, getting fairly good at detecting and checking these videos out. It was a video of, it was a wolf that was, had like locked down on, looked like maybe like a raccoon or something. And it's a woman filming and she's like, no. And, it was supposedly her dog came and knocked the wolf, jumped on the wolf and they got to fighting and the wolf ran off. It looked real as hell. She's like, no, get out. Just stop. It looked real as hell. And I was like, but first thing I was tripping, I was like, why is the dog helping to save the wolf from locking down on a raccoon? Like, was that her pet raccoon or what? But then, they get the fighting and the dog chases off the thing. And I watched it a couple of times. I was like, damn, that dog was tough. And then I look at the comments and they like, man, AI is getting good. Hey, did you notice how the tracks on the wolf had disappeared and the wolf completely disappeared out the picture when the dog started chasing? And I was like, I went back. I said, damn, that's got me. AI is getting good. And I'm sure a lot of us ain't got fooled by stuff like that. But now you see it's being used in crimes. Palantir is being recruited. OpenAI is already on the payroll with Agent Orange, man. So expect a lot more false accusations and crimes, locking Jake's up off of that's you on camera. But now you can't even trust your eyes no more, man. Guilty until proven innocent. That's always been the way for us. It's not innocent until proven guilty. We are guilty until we prove our innocence. And now they got video that's saying there's a whole nother obstacle you niggas are gonna have to figure out. You better have good lawyers. You better have a stone cold judge who's giving you the objective opportunity to provide all evidences that wasn't you. Because otherwise they're gonna say, man, look, that's your face. That's your voice. That's you in there. Our eyes don't lie. But now, with the advent of technology, definitely eyes can't lie, man. Incredible. I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna close it out, man, because I don't even know if I can get to the. I don't even know if I'm gonna get up out of here because my whole system is acting a fool, and I can't get to the get my keyboard to act right. Look, everything I touch is doing something different. Huh. More than one way to skin a cat, man. Shoot. Yeah, this thing is out of control, man. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High, man. We made it through. Had some difficulties, man. The spirits was moving, man. Satan tried to get in the way, but as the scriptures say, man, you can do nothing against the truth but for the truth. In 2 Corinthians 13, I believe in like verse 6 on down, right? We got to stay fighting, man. Stay fighting, stay prepared, right? That's the word of the day. That's the spirit that I want to put in everybody's minds, the wisdom and the understanding that the Lord imparts upon you, man. Utilize it. Don't neglect it, because times ain't getting better, they're getting worse, man. And by all intents and purposes, everything that we're seeing and hearing, can't trust it. So make sure that you're preparing yourself, you and your households, man, preparing your minds and your spirits, more importantly, for the incoming, troubles that's ahead, right? So with that being said, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai. And always remember, man, fear the Most High, keep the commandments. Don't shoot the messenger. All right. We'll be back online again in about another 3 hours, man. 3 hours, about 4:15 or so, man. We'll have a closing Shabbat class, man. You're welcome to join us, man. Always, again, dating back to the beginning of the video, man. Make sure that you guys are liking the video, sharing it, man, and helping us to stop the shadow ban that's going on over here as best we can, man. It is what it is. This is our lot. We accept it. And, Most High willing, man, this message reaches you. And in the spirit of Christ and the Most High, man, I bid everybody shalom, shalom, peace, and Have a good day. Shalom.